What would happen if America's top-selling pickup truck went into battle against Australia's most popular ute? Well, we're about to find out, because right here, right now, the Ford F-150 and Ford Ranger are combat ready.
We're going to compare them inside and out, see how they drive, carry loads, tow, crush rocks, you name it. We'll show you the differences between these Aussie and American trucks and ultimately find a winner.
So where do you stand? Are you interested in a massive full-sized pickup truck from the USA, or do you prefer the regular Aussie-size ute? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Onwards.
The Ford Ranger has been the benchmark ute in Australia for more than a decade, winning countless awards over the years due to its generous equipment list, class-leading technology, and unflappable driving dynamics, loaded or not.
And this one, the Platinum, is the luxury flagship model with all the bells and whistles. And it's not a short ass either. It measures 5.4 metres long. But the F-150 dwarfs it by comparison, and it's been America's favourite pickup truck since before I was born. It's imported from the USA and converted to right-hand drive here in Australia by Ford's conversion partner, RMA. But where they differ the most is in price. The Ford Ranger Platinum is not cheap at $80,000, but this Ford F-150 Lariat short wheelbase sees that and raises it by $60K to a hefty $140,000.
Both vehicles are backed by the same 5-year warranty, but F-150 ownership costs are much higher, given it's more expensive to service, to fuel, to run, and of course the asking price is so much higher than that of the top spec Ranger.
Ironically, it was the F-150's all-American front-end design that inspired the Ranger's rugged face, and those C-shaped LED driving lights visually link the pair.
But the F-150 Lariat wears its old-school ideology on its sleeve, with more chrome than a custom Harley-Davidson Fat Boy and a bazooka-sized exhaust pipe.
Speaking of heavy weapons, both these utes make a V6 power play, but they do it in different ways. The Ranger has a V6 single turbo diesel donk, while the F-150 has an even bigger twin turbo V6 petrol power plant. The Ford Ranger makes plenty of power and torque, but the F-150 takes it to the next level with enough mumbo to make a sports car flinch. Understandably, it can tow more as well, 4,500 kilograms versus 3,500 kilograms, and we'll put them both to the test a little later. Both vehicles' engines pump through a conventional 10-speed automatic transmission and put power to the ground through a permanent 4x4 system. Righto, let's start in the Ranger, and it's hard to believe this vehicle is based on agricultural underpinnings because the cabin is seriously lush.
Check out the quilted leather seats. They're very comfortable and come with heating, cooling, and power adjustability as well. The leather steering wheel is lovely, and material quality across the dashboard and doors is impressive.
Storage solutions are pretty good too. You've got dual glove boxes, thank you very much. A large central bin here with a 12-volt socket, that's good. 2 medium-sized spring-loaded cup holders there, plus another 2 secret cup holders that pop out of the dash. You've got a little bit of incidental storage here, a wireless phone charger plus USB A and C ports, and my Mega Gulp fits in the door pockets along with another bottle. That's impressive.
Ford has been a tech leader in the ute category for yonks, and this generation Ranger is no different. The big 12-inch touchscreen bringing a wealth of features and systems to bear.
The GPS sat-nav system works really well. High definition, very easy to use, and there's a built-in modem in this vehicle which can pair with the Ford Pass phone app to allow remote vehicle monitoring and operation, which comes in super handy. There's no head-up display, but the 12.4-inch digital instrument cluster looks really good. It's got all the relevant information with a smidgen of customizability as well.
The 10-speaker B&O stereo deserves a mention because it's a banging audio system, and I like the physical climate controls. The parking camera system is good, with a number of different views, including top-down and even a hitch view for checking your trailer.
Okay, the Ford F-150 Lariat interior is, well, it's massive, it's huge. And sure, the Ranger over there is lush, but this is on the next level. I mean, you don't get those diamond quilted leather seats, but it is still extravagant and there's just so much room.
The seats are incredibly comfortable. The leather upholstery better than the Ranger, and the front seats are heated, cooled, and have 12-way power adjustability versus the Aussie Utes 10. The steering wheel is bigger, naturally, and more luxurious, and the buttons are larger and easier to suss out. The conversion job in the cabin is also very good, with impressive attention to detail on the dashboard. You wouldn't even know it came out of the Dearborn factory in Detroit with the steering wheel on the other side, if nobody told you.
When it comes to storage solutions, the F-150 craps all over its little brother from a great height, and it starts with these epic door pockets. Not only do they fit my Mega Gulp, I could put several more bottles in there, paperwork, all sorts of stuff. Plus you've got 2 glove boxes like the Ranger, but this area here, incidental storage, is much better. The 2 cup holders are a little bit larger, spring loaded. There's some room for odds and sods in here, plus you've got the wireless phone charger, loads of USB ports, twin USB A and C ports, and this central bin is big enough to bath a baby. It's huge, and it's got a really cool party trick.
Hit this button, the T-bar gear shifter bends over and the lid folds out into a table. It's super convenient when you need to get the laptop out or do paperwork or just want to watch Starsky and Hutch reruns. The F-150 has a big 12-inch central touchscreen and has similarly crisp and clear graphics compared to the Ranger, matching it for depth and versatility as well, with loads of different modes, functions and menus. It also features Apple CarPlay and Android Auto functionality like in the Ranger.
Also like the Ranger, the F-150 gets the Ford Pass remote vehicle operation and monitoring system. So it links up with the app and it's got a modem built in, which is pretty cool.
The 12-inch digital instrument panel has similar eye candy to the Ranger, but the fonts are all much bigger and clearer, which I prefer.
And audiophiles take note. The 18-speaker B&O stereo is extraordinary. It creates the audio equivalent of gold and honey with deep velvety bass and really crisp treble, so that sound is just amazing at high volumes and even lower volume too.
The F-150 also has physical climate controls, but goes one further with more buttons and dials covering a wider range of features. The fitment of adjustable foot pedals is a great feature, plus there's a huge panoramic glass roof and a power sliding rear cabin window, none of which are offered on the Ranger. The parking camera system is pretty much the same in both utes, with several different views, including top-down and trailer hitch angles. Overall, both vehicles have impressive cabin fit-outs, with loads of luxury and technology. When it comes to safety systems, both trucks are loaded to the hilt with modern features to help park, reverse, and drive the vehicle more safely. But the F-150's 6 airbags seem a little sparse compared to the Ranger's 9 airbags.
Okay, the backseat of the Ranger is good but not great. The legroom is a little wanting, and although the seat cushions are fairly comfortable, the seat backs are very upright, although this is fairly common of most body-on-frame utes like this. In terms of amenity, it's not too bad. You've got USB A and C, that's always handy, adjustable air vents, and a little fold-out armrest here with cup holders. There's a couple little storage pockets too, seat banks down here. Overall, it's okay.
You get dual ISOFIX and top tether child seat anchorage points, and I like that the seat base and seat backs can also be folded to improve flexibility.
The back seat of the F-150 is so much bigger than the Ranger. It is so good back here, leg room, headroom, it's quite incredible. There's more storage. And check this out, when I've got the kids back here in their child seats, I've still got room to walk up and down here. It's just awesome. The seats too, more comfortable. They're not quite as erect as in the Ranger, and amenity is excellent. USB A and C, a 12-volt socket, heated outboard seats, vents, cup holders. There's a lot going on. You get absolutely everything.
Dual ISOFIX and top tether child seat anchorages are here, and the back seats can be folded up, exposing a pop-out storage box, which is very useful.
And now we come to the trays or beds, which are both big, flexible, and a little bit weird and wacky. The Ranger has a damped tailgate, which is lovely, and also a power-operated roller shutter, which adds extra security, but if you look at the back here, it also cannibalizes a bit of space.
A drop-in bed liner is a nice touch, plus there's also a 12-volt socket, cargo management system, and a useful integrated step, not to mention full-length side steps. And check this out, the Ranger Platinum comes with a flexible rack system designed for carrying longer roof loads.
The Ford F-150 comes with a remote power-operated tailgate, which is pretty cool, and it reveals a longer, wider, deeper bed. It's also got extra support via this pop-out step and a little grab handle, so if you've got gammy knees, no drama.
There's no roller cover or permanent side step like the Ranger, but there are numerous tie downs and excellent lighting options.
I have to quickly mention these side steps, which look awesome with all the chrome, but they ain't great. All this chrome stuff, it's super slippery, and my mother-in-law slipped getting out of the truck, which is not good for me.
While both trays can swallow an Aussie pallet, the Ranger can take up to 912 kilograms in the tray, while the F-150 can tow 4,500 kilograms.
Thus far, I'm leaning towards the Ranger, chiefly because of that huge price difference. But let's see how this battle plays out on the road. Cue the driving music. We're going to test payload, towing and off-roading, but before we get to those, we're going to do some cruising on country roads to get a handle on how differently these two utes feel. Starting in the Ranger, and the most impressive element of the drive is the diesel V6. It's really smooth, it's responsive, it's satisfying to drive, and it is hands down the best diesel you can get in a mid-size ute today. No contest. Handling dynamics are also class leading. Fact of the matter is, there is simply no other similar size ute that handles this cleanly and this predictably on the road.
The steering is accurate and communicative, and the suspension cops hits and bumps, yet doesn't get pushed around by them. Apart from some of the expected pattering and mild jolting over corrugations, ride comfort is pretty good, especially considering its big 20-inch shoes.
Refinement levels are surprisingly good for a ute of this caliber too. The smooth V6 engine and overall very quiet cabin make this a very pleasant mile muncher. Right, let's get a grip on the F-150, and right away there is an even more profound sense of comfort and luxury driving this vehicle. It's kind of like a very large couch on wheels. It's awesome.
But when you nail the throttle, the twin-turbo petrol V6 elevates it head and shoulders above the Ranger, accelerating with vengeful intensity. There's also a sports mode that makes gear shifts more aggressive, and that V6 sounds absolutely fantastic. On the flip side, the V6 is also creamy smooth and beautifully lazy when cruising. The petrol engine blends more seamlessly with the 10-speed auto. It's not that the Ranger struggles with its transmission, but driving the back-to-back reveals fewer gear changes in the F-150.
In terms of handling dynamics, the F-150 isn't that far behind the Ford Ranger, which is an impressive feat given it's wider, way longer, and weighs about 150 kilograms more.
It feels confident through corners, and though the steering isn't as accurate, it hides its weight pretty well.
For such a big rig, it's reasonably nimble, but it's the vehicle's ride quality that truly shines. It almost feels like a luxury limousine the way it floats over potholes and rough country roads. Couch on wheels, baby.
Both utes can run in two-wheel drive to save fuel, but when it comes to fuel economy, the F-150 is bested by the Ranger, which is no great surprise.
Okay, next up we are going to put 500 kilograms in the tray to see how they fare under load, and we're going to start with the Ranger.
Well, it doesn't feel stressed at all. The V6 barely notices that extra mass, still pulls strongly when you give it the beans, and I've also noticed it's hardly made a dent in fuel consumption either. It's pretty impressive. Handling and braking are slightly affected by that extra mass. You do feel a bit of a difference when it goes around corners and you have to stop quickly, but overall, it is doing this effortlessly. The F-150 shifts that 500 kilogram bed load even easier than the Ranger in all respects, which doesn't make a lot of sense given we're close to its claimed 685 kilogram load limit, which makes me think maybe it's just a ploy for Ford to sell more F-250s in the USA. Either way, there's a number of aftermarket suppliers working on GVM upgrades in Australia for the F-150. Now it's time to test towing, which is exciting. Well, it is for me. And on the back, I've hitched up a 19-foot New Age Expedition off-road trailer. And gotta say right away, the Ranger is barely perturbed. It feels relaxed and stable with the van on the back. There's minimal pitch and yaw, and none of that unsettling sway movements you sometimes get with a big caravan. The V6 offers strong performance, allowing it to easily keep up with traffic around town, which is a good thing. Out in the country, there is a little bit of gear shuffling, especially up steeper hills, but for the most part, the powertrain is smooth and decisive. Okay, it's the F-150's turn to tow the big off-road caravan, and from the get-go, it just feels more effortless across the range. It's impressive. There's almost no sway movements, there's no yaw, although I did notice there is a little bit of pitch and minor body roll at slower speeds, and that's probably because of the softer suspension, but it's very minor. Engine performance is hard to fault. It's almost perfection, and it surges from low speeds to 100 kilometers an hour and beyond as if there's no caravan there. It's awesome. The downside to this epic pulling power is excessive fuel usage. That said, at 100 kilometers an hour, the F-150 revs lower than the Ranger. And although that fuel consumption figure on the screen you can see here is very high, it will drop lower if you're doing mostly 100 kilometer an hour and freeway driving. All right, it's time to get dirty, and first up is the Ranger, which has a pretty good off-road toolkit, including a Borg Warner 4x4 system with low-range 4x4 or locking rear diff, and of course, we also have a mud rut off-road mode, which should come in handy. It climbs steep slopes easily in 4 high, and although the street tyres are not ideal here, it still feels fairly confident in these slippery conditions. Ground clearance is pretty good at 234 millimeters, but there's a couple of sections that I'm struggling to maintain traction with, and that's even with the diff locker engaged. All right, it's the F-150's turn, and it's got the same Borg Warner 4x4 system as the Ranger. So pretty solid toolkit. Again, you've got four-wheel drive high and four-wheel drive low. Plus, you can also chuck in a rear drive if you want to save fuel. Probably not a good idea on the rough stuff. And a locking rear diff, and also the same mud rut mode, which should give it a little extra traction on the slippery stuff. Right away, it doesn't feel as capable, and the fundamental problem is not the engine or the 4x4 system, but it's the vehicle's size. Approach, departure and ramp over angles are worse in the F-150, and while it has a similar 239mm ride height, that longer wheelbase means you run out of ground clearance a lot quicker. It seems to climb hills fairly easily, but as I've discovered, tight spaces are not its friend, and it requires a 12-point turn to spin this thing around. All right, we're in four-wheel drive low. We've got the rear locker on, and I'm going to attempt the tricky wheel articulation section that the Ranger couldn't even get completely through. And oh yeah, this is, nah, this is scraping all over the place. It's too long. It's going to get beached. It's a massive whale. I'm not going to risk it. There's no denying the Ranger is more capable and composed off-road, but both vehicles' street tyres mean they're best suited to sealed and dirt roads. The F-150 is an absolute beast when it comes to towing and cruising, but it should be noted that Ford has had to recall the vehicle no less than 5 times in Australia to fix teething problems related to swapping the steering wheel from the right-hand side. I also noted the alarm would go off sporadically, but overall, there's a lot to like here.
There are big differences, but also many similarities between Aussie and American utes. And this test proves they both have their place. If you're towing extra heavy loads or just want that king of the road feeling, the F-150 will not disappoint. It is a beast. But given the Ranger can do about 3/4 of what Big Bro does on the road, and probably a little bit more off-road, plus it's 60k cheaper, I'll have the Ranger, thanks. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And what do you reckon? Is the F-150 just too big to park out the front of the milk bar? Have your say in the comments below.